I'ma do the most. Since they paid to see a show, got the South overflow, yeah. If I gotta do it, I'ma do the most. Watching me, they take note. Raise a toast to the goat, yeah. Body be dripping and steaming. Pat on my nose with that thing.
Oh, there's Kim. Hopefully she got her shit straightened out. There she is. Hey, Kim.
Hey, I am so sorry about that.
Oh, don't be sorry. You got on. That's all that matters.
I did. I had to put the StreamYard app on my phone. I was like, let me just do it on my phone.
We were actually just going around the panel, Kim, and I was asking everybody, who do you think's got a bigger dick? Yabushiki or Blackfoot?
How did they know you were going to say that?
I think Blackfoot does, but I favor him.
I know, that's why I asked you the question. You know what I'm saying? What do you think, Sarin? Who's got the bigger private part down there? Yabushiki or with this loincloth, or Blackfoot? Who's got the longer sword?
Blackfoot, Blackthorn.
Blackfoot.
We named him. Yes, Sarin. We called him like all kinds of different names.
Black seed oil.
Black beard as well.
Yeah.
What do you think? So you're picking Blackfoot on that one? You think Blackfoot's probably got the bigger cannon?
Oh, hell yeah.
What do you think, Ron?
Look, you just got to look at the bulge, right? It tells the whole story.
Yo, Yabushiki's bulge was impressive. What do you think,
Some of the bulges are pretty big. So
you like that? Sure. That was a big bulge, right?
There are some impressive bulges on the show. That's all I'm going to say. I mean, I can't make a decision on the spot here.
Andres, could you pull off that loincloth like Yabushiki?
No, yeah, you're funny. What was the other nephew? The other general's nephew?
Andres, I'm still waiting for you to pull off your Yabushiki loincloth on the show deal and whatnot. How's it going, folks? How's it going? It is Monday, 5/6/24. We're live here on the MCU'S Media Report, our only self-titled weekly show out of our 3 weekly shows a week here on Mondays, of which I am the, quasi-host, Jeff S., a.k.a. TrueKnowledge. I'm the co-host and creator of the MCU'S Bleeding Edge, and Andres, the pop culture guy here at the bottom, is my special guest co-host that backs me up on Mondays. And we're being joined by Rashawn, and he is coming over from When Cinephiles Attack Pod, a great title. How are you, brother?
I'm doing pretty good. How about you guys?
We're happy to have you on, brother.
That's great.
Folks, basically, he's here to knock out X-Men 97, Episode 7. We're going to recap that. And then after that, he's going to dip. And then Andres and I are going to finish up with some trailer watches of the Furiosa Mad Max saga, film and whatnot. Everything, do some previewing of that, and then do a discussion on the apparently still alive Armor Wars project from Marvel that was supposed to come out like 2 years ago. That supposedly is actually going to come out now in Phase 6. So that's what we got for you tonight. Do us a solid here, support the MCU'S Bleeding Edge simply by considering liking, following, subscribing. And make sure you turn on all the notifications on our YouTube channel so you're aware when we're live, when we're dropping new reaction videos or new content. In the meantime, let's get the show going. You guys ready to rock and roll? Ready to talk some X-Men 97?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Let's do it.
All right. Well, is the bearded lady ready?
No one's going to marry you, Hernam. Like, you have a beard. No one's going to date you, Hernam. You have a beard. No one's going to be...
There you go. She's ready. Her mom's ready to go, right? Her and her beard. That's good to know. There's Andres, his crazy ass girlfriend. She's here. She's ready to rock and roll. She's on the panel.
Don't drive. I don't even.
She'll be dropping in. That's her. She's like, Andres, no, don't leave me.
Folks, I have Angela Bassett as my wife. So
some of those women are psychotic, though, fangirls, whatever they whatnot that Andres has, man.
No, that's Angela Bassett's fans. Okay, my wife's fans, not me. Okay, she drive. I didn't.
I was gonna say if that was Angela Bassett would probably throw a hip out.
Or she could send the Majar soldiers, and then bam,
the Durablage, or whatever with that, with the
Yeah.
with the tattoos they have on their faces and shit. Those are pretty dope. Yeah,
They can attack them. I see it
Those-
firsthand. It was crazy.
those are the only bald chicks I can think of out there that I actually would bang. The Durablage from Wakanda, right? Like something about them, like with their bald heads and shit, whatnot. I still find them very attractive and very feminine and shit, whatnot. They kick ass too. So like, and they look cool.
Yeah, they're cool. I like them. I mean, I will agree you on that part, sir.
But otherwise, you know, I don't really go for the bald chicks or the.
No one's gonna marry you, Hernam. Like, you have a beard. No one's gonna date you, Hernam. You have a beard. No one's gonna be your boyfriend, Hernam. You have a beard. You are not a.
I love that powerful music in the background. It's so poignant, right?
Yeah.
I don't know what her point is, Rashad, but like whatever it is, it must be very powerful.
I think so, yeah.
Whatever her message is, she's fighting for something.
Yeah.
It's silly. When is this?
Maybe she's a mutant. Maybe they can recruit her at Xavier Institute.
I mean, kind of, right? I don't know. Oh my god.
Anyway, so under the pop culture guy, sir, what is the title of X-Men 97 episode 7?
Hold on. Let me have it here. I have it here. It's Bright Eyes, episode 7.
Oh, that's correct. It is Bright Eyes. You're right. I remember that now. I haven't ever written down. I just wanted to make you do it, sir, because I'm that kind of guy. I'm an asshole like that. Even though I have it written down right in front of me. You know. But thank you for the help, sir. So basically, you know, what we like to do, Rashad, is when guests come on, since, you know, this will probably be the only time you come on and do X-Men 97 with us, so we appreciate you coming on. And, you know, you've watched probably, you know, all the way up to whatever, episode 7 or 8. We like to at least start off with one question where we give you a chance to kind of just talk about the series in general, sort of like up to episode 7 or whatever, whatnot, you know, like your feelings, kind of where you're at with it, whatnot. So I'll give you that space right now, right? And then I'll let you do the same thing, Andres, and whatnot, and I'll opine as well. But what do you think? What are your, you know, where are you at with X-Men 97, you know, right as of right now?
I love it. Yeah, I was a big Saturday morning cartoon guy. So this and Spider-Man and all the Fox and ABC shows were my jam. So when I heard that they were bringing this back, I was really excited. And it took me a second to get caught up, but I love it. I think it kind of does something that that maybe live action doesn't have the space to do, you know, with the action sequences and being a little more melodramatic and soapy, but also kind of giving all the X-Men space to breathe throughout the episode. So I'm digging it pretty hard. I think this is probably my favorite episode so far, episode 7, despite the fact that it doesn't have Storm in it, but she's on her way back. But yeah, I thought it was great, and I think the series up until this point has taken its time and really given everyone a chance to shine. So I'm a huge fan.
All right, good to hear. How does pop culture guy, sir?
Yeah, well, I mean, so far, great. This show has been very consistent with its quality, which is really good. Yeah, I grew up watching the show and reruns, and you know, Fox. Well, back then when it was Fox Kids, you know, with the Marvel stuff, you know, with Spider-Man and Iron Man and all that. And so I really appreciate how this episode, you know, kind of confirmed that, you know, this is in the Marvel universe, because a lot of people forget that, you know, these shows, you know, were interconnected before, you know, the MCU. So you know, but at the same time, I think this show has done a really great job being faithful to the X-Men comics, which has been great, because as our guest has brought up before, the live action movies have not done that. That's not really, I mean, except for Deadpool. I mean, Deadpool somehow is the only thing in the X-Men that has been so faithful to the X-Men stuff, which is crazy. But yeah, you know, it's just great to see, you know, comic accurate, you know, X-Men stuff, and the show has been delivering so good, you know, just like the original show. So that's great. So yeah, I've been very happy. And in terms of episode 7, this is my third favorite after episode 2 and 3. because 3 I love it because of the horror aspect, and of course Mr. Sinister coming back as he's my favorite X-Men villain, so I like to hear shine. So yeah, that's where I'm at.
Okay. Yeah, and you know what? I'll tell you, I have a hard time doing, ranking, episodes and things like that and whatnot. You know that, Andres, I have a hard time picking like number ones, for instance, like it's easier for me to pick a top 3 out of something than it is for me to pick a number 1, right? I'm not good at narrowing down things like that and whatnot, like on the fly at all. It's very difficult for me. And even in general, when I think things through, because it's just like, just to be long story short on it, when you look at the MCU, right, like the first 3 phases, the Infinity Saga, part of it, the Golden Age, right, if you were to sit down with me like every month for like 5 months and ask me to do a show, right, because I've done these ranking shows before where you rank everything that Marvel's done for the year and all that and whatnot. If you go to me month by month, my opinions on who I pick and how I rank the movies and whatnot, all that shit will change from month to month. You know what I'm saying? Like I've done it, and like I can prove it that it changes. So at that point, it's I really like episode 2. I thought it was really stand out. The writing was really great. Episode 7 was really deep. It was really emotional. But I felt like episode 2, like the writing was really like the best we've seen it in the series so far. And it's really, it's really good, really well done, really well produced. Bo DeMayo did a really great job with the show, and it's probably better than the original animated show. You know what I'm saying? Like, the combination of the improved animation, how there's more fluidity to it now in the action scenes and whatnot and all that. It's not as like jumbly as it used to be. You know what I'm saying? It looks more live action alike, if you notice, like, we don't pinpoint it enough, Andres, the animation, especially episode 7, and the action scenes is great. That animation's been there throughout the whole series, right? That really great animation during the fight scenes and action scenes and shit and whatnot. They've really delivered in those areas. So, hats off to the animators because, remember it was, only like not so long ago that there was all that flack and all that bullshit going on and whatnot with, how the writers weren't being treated well. And like that, that had to do with like poor performance in series like She-Hulk and things like that and whatnot, So I'm glad to see that, that they really, they pulled off a really great job with X-Men 97. And hey, Marvel Studios needed a win. So, they definitely got one. This carries over to the MCU as far as I'm concerned, whether it's canon or not. It still affects the whole Marvel Studios brand and whatnot in the MCU. So, I'm not sure it really impacts Deadpool and Wolverine necessarily, maybe really at the end of the day, but it does impact the fan base. It proves that Marvel can still deliver good writing, good quality, entertaining, television at the very least, or content. So basically episode 7, Bright Eyes, Rogue does the previously on, as they've been, switching from character to character. Obviously, it makes sense that they would, right there, that Rogue is going to be the main character. And I'm sorry if my audio was a little bit off there or askew there for a while, guys. I have my microphone just chilling over there, and I was talking through the laptop audio. But we start off at Gambit's funeral, and I don't know who all the people who were there were, but I know that was Belladonna. That was a part of the contingency from the Thieves Guild, right down in New Orleans, right? But that was Belladonna, Gambit's wife, that was there, and everybody from the X-Men is there, but obviously Xavier but Rogue. Nightcrawler delivers like a really outstanding eulogy or whatnot as the minister. He's been a great addition to the show. I really enjoy his character. Very layered, very, very complex. And he says something very poignant. He says modesty was Gambit's tell. Or something like that. Something along those lines. And it was really good. It was, that wasn't what he said, but it was something like that. It was really well written. Really well said. The way he explained Remy and kind of how his character was and how his mindset was, right? And you know, basically you see Jubilee crying. She doesn't understand why Rogue isn't there, right? Straight to full force Rogue flying, attacking like a top secret government facility. We see Thunderbolt Ross, right? And Rogue basically takes apart the facility, gets in and puts him up by his neck and shit and whatnot, and wants to know where Henry Gyrick and Bolivar Trask are. You know, and like got Thunderbolt Ross all pinned up straight up in the air and everything. And this is like the most animated, like fucking like raged out Rogue we've ever seen, probably in X-Men animated that I can think of. She's pissed. She's lit. And then we see Cyclops with the president, and things aren't really going Cyclops' way of the conversation. So now he's lit, right? Everybody's lit pretty much for the most part. Jean comes in, you know, and you know, Cyclops says something about, you know, Magneto knew about, he saw something like Genosha coming, you know, like he predicted something like this. And basically they're heading to Genosha to help out. But you could see, you know, that because of the turmoil that's been going on and because of the Genosha attack, the relationship between Jean and Cyclops is finally starting to like come back together. You know what I'm saying? Like they're finding their place now, because there's bigger shit to worry about now than Madeline Pryor and all that kind of shit, whatnot, and all that, you know. And so, you know, at that point, they're kind of coming back together, which is nice to see. Like them kind of, you know, you can see them warming back up to each other. And their communication is coming back, you know. Jean says it seems like time has given her some resolve, allowed her to have some retrospect, kind of look back at the whole thing, you know what I mean, with Madeline, right? And even mentions, you know, a few things about her and all that and whatnot in a positive manner, if I remember correctly in the conversation. So I'll stop there before we go to the team heading over to Genosha and the Blackbird. And since you're the guest, I'll go to you first, Rashad. What are your thoughts on that passage of the episode? Anything you want to give us on that?
I thought it was great. I guess referring to the Jean and Scott, the show really moves at a breakneck pace, but I do feel like it takes its moments to kind of slow down and remind us about the human connection between these people. And I thought those moments between Scott and Jean and kind of trying to reconnect, as well as, you know, Jubilee being younger than everybody and not really having a grasp on losing somebody.
Kind of reminding us of the Jubilee from the original animated show a little bit more.
Yeah, definitely. And you know, she might have these awesome, amazing powers, but she still has a lot of growing up to do. And having her confront with, you know, why wouldn't Rogue be at the funeral? I thought that was a really great character building moment of her, you know, learning that everything's not cut and dry, and Rogue has to mourn in her own way. And I think the writing for the show has been phenomenal so far. And this beginning part of the episode was a really good example of that.
Okay. Anything else? You're not on any kind of time restrictions or anything like that and whatnot. So if you have any other words, feel free.
This has been a thing that I've maybe had with superhero properties or MCU. I wasn't sure that Gambit's death, the last episode, was permanent. And so when we got to the funeral, I was like, I hope this isn't all not for nothing, but I hope he's not like resurrected next episode, because I thought his death was handled so well in the triangle with Magneto and how Rogue dealt with that. I thought it landed so well. So there was a little bit of skepticism in the beginning of the episode, because I was like, don't bring him back, but they might. But it's comics, it's the X-Men. Like, you know, I know people have died and come back a lot, but a part of me was like,
at least wait till next season.
Yeah, give me like a season or two without him, and let Rogue kind of grow without him, and then bring him back. But
they've done that before in the past. They've had characters disappear for a while and come back and things like that and whatnot. So I wouldn't be surprised. You know what I mean? They're known for that, for not being afraid to do that. You kind of need to do it when you've got so many characters to work with.
Yeah. And you've got to kind of, you know, ebb and flow and grow the cast and then pare it back down. So I wouldn't be mad if they brought him back, but I just want them to take their time with the impact of his death. So that was my biggest thought during the beginning of the episode.
Okay. Yeah, most definitely. And remember Jubilee was tight with Gambit too. Like honestly, Gambit was with Storm and Rogue when they first saved her from the mall in episode 1 of the animated series, right?
Mhm.
So like she's tight with Gambit. No, I thought that was a really good contribution. Andres, what do you think, sir?
Yeah, well, so the funeral, those were Remy's family from the Guild of Thieves. If anyone doesn't know, that's the kind of
I said that.
Yeah. Well, the thing that's important is that his brother's there. That's the person.
Oh, okay, that was his brother there. Okay.
Yeah, because he does have a sibling in the guild, and that because we saw him in the original show. If you don't remember, season 2, we do meet the wife that you're bringing up and his brother, because his brother got in trouble with the other family. See,
I haven't gotten that far with the original animated show. I'm watching it. I'm in like season 3 or whatnot, but I haven't gotten that far.
Okay.
I started watching ahead from where you and I stopped before with it, and what do you call it? I only know the Thieves Guild people from the comics. That's why I know Belladonna, because in the comics, remember, like Gambit teams up with Belladonna down in New Orleans, and they take on the Brood and all that shit and whatnot down there with Ghost Rider and the X-Men and all that shit, and the Punisher and all that shit and whatnot. Spider-Man's there. Yeah, it's like it was a big crossover they had.
That's cool. Okay, yeah. So just
she died during that event. That's why I wanted to mention it. That's why I remembered her.
Okay, yeah. So we do see her in the show. There's an episode that's centered around Gambit where he has to go back to New Orleans.
Yeah, she's a mutant. She has powers.
Yeah, and which this show does do, and she, not to spoil the season 2, but it's very big. It's a really great episode. So that's who's there, and I really dug that Nightcrawler was actually the priest. That was actually really cool because, I always forget that Nightcrawler is a very Catholic person, so I really appreciate they didn't forget about that and like actually made him be one of the priests. And I love Nightcrawler; he's a great character, and it's great to see him because he does appear later on in the show. He actually appears like in the last 2 seasons, really. So it's great to see him again here, and of course, him being the brother, the stepbrother for Rogue, this kind of hurts a little bit. And it was so, what's so sad when he looks to the picture and then you see him a little tear and then like wipes it out. That was so cool. That was so sad. That was such a great animation way to do that. And so,
are you talking about later on when he sees Rogue way later on in the fucking episode?
No, I'm talking about the funeral, sir. I'm not talking about later.
Okay,
on.
I was about to say.
I think you're thinking too much. Anyway,
shut up.
I'm joking.
I've barely even cracked my drink, sir. I've barely even sipped this bitch.
Oh god, we're going this good way. Start strong way, folks. Yeah, and Jeff, you brought up Jubilee. I totally forgot. Yeah, she is very tight with Gambit. Yeah, because
they're tight.
Yeah, so I totally get now, like this second viewing, that why she was that angry with Rogue. Because Gambit and Rogue did save her during the the pilot, the Night of the Sentinels. So it makes a lot of sense. And same thing with Storm as well. I mean, Storm, those 3 were like the first X-Men we met before the other X-Men. So
plus Gambit saved them from Genosha when they were in like solitary confinement.
Yes, correct. Yeah. So yeah, I really appreciate that. Actually, as our the guest has brought up before, the confirmation of who did die. Because the last the week before this episode came out. We were kind of I was kind of suspicious, worried if the death could have been just meaningless, like it wasn't a death. But I really was happy that the death was official, and there's twists and turns we see here in this episode, which I was not expecting. So I did appreciate we got this kind of confirmation, and then this episode confirms what happened with the aftermath. This is the aftermath of the attack, which is great, and you're seeing a lot of good development for that. So and then after that, the Rogue attacking the base thing was so cool. I mean, again, as Jeff brought up, the animation is so much better than the original. I mean, the action is more fluid, which is great. I did not expect Thunderbolt Ross to come, be in this show. It was great, and I love his lines like, "Gentlemen, this base was built to hold the Hulk," and he say, this is what moving from a swamps, and then she immediately cracks down in that secret hideout or whatnot, and that was very funny. And her choking him out was really great. Yeah, and then great scene because you're confirming that this is the wider universe of Marvel. Because I know a lot of people were kind of it was confirmed from the pilot, from this season that Stark Industries there. If you pay attention in the New York clip montage from was it the first episode for this season, you see Stark Industries in the New York Times, the New York Times Square, and then you got the Daily Bugle, with Spider-Man and all that. So but yeah, so I really dug this sequence. It gets you into the mood of this episode, which was great.
They did a really good job of imprinting a lot of crossover from other Marvel characters and whatnot in really well, they always do, just very subtle ways, nothing big, you know what I mean? Just kind of, stuck them in, right? But they're there, you know what I mean? And whatnot. And it's fan service. It's like Easter eggs kind of in a way, and it's cool, to see it. But no, I just wanted to say, I need to get back to doing predictions again, because I knew Gambit actually died after episode 7. And I should have said so. And I knew Magneto lived. There was no way Magneto died, right? No. That made no sense in this from a standpoint of the story and all that and whatnot. It made no sense for him to die. So I knew that shit, and I should have said it. And now I'm pissed off at myself. But basically, I just want to point out that it's really cool to see Rogue really pushing her powers. You don't get to see that very often. She's always tempering herself, it seems like, right? In the X-Men animated, when she fights, you never really see you don't really know what her full potential is from a strength standpoint, right? You know what I'm saying? Because she so rarely does ever lose it and flip out or rage out or whatever, or go Wolverine or anything like that and whatnot. She's not that kind of character. She's more the type to come in and talk shit, and make jokes and shit like that and whatnot, and throw a punch, right? And whatnot. So,
yeah,
go ahead.
That's true. Oh, sorry to interrupt. But yeah, because a lot of people forget that she has Captain Marvel's powers.
Well, of course, that's how she has the flying powers and the super strength and the invulnerability. That's what she got from her. That's what I'm saying, is that you don't really ever get a chance to see her flex. So it's hard to really be able to tell or rate what her power levels are, if that makes sense. You know where I'm going with that, Rashad?
Yeah, for sure. I think it was more kind of in that moment, she didn't know how powerful she was. She was just rage, pure rage.
That would make sense with her character, that I wouldn't know where things are at in the comics now, but maybe back then that she wouldn't know what her limits were, you know what I'm saying, as far as what she could really do, with her strength, for instance, right, or her vulnerability, because that's just because of how she is as a character.
Yeah, and then the comparison between her and the Hulk, and then her just kind of making light work of the whole base was just a really good, another nod to her character. She's more powerful than she knows, and she hasn't tapped into it yet.
Yeah, I mean, she's not Omega level, right? Because of how she got her powers. Because her real mutant ability is the ability to steal people's memories and powers and all that kind of stuff. But what she got from Captain Marvel was really just, at the end of the day, flight, super strength, and invulnerability, right? And I think she probably maybe also has heightened agility and heightened stamina and things like that, whatnot too, that come along with it. But besides that, she doesn't have anything else going on that would make her Omega level. She's not like Jean Grey, Scarlet Witch type shit.
Yeah, no, because with Captain Marvel, I don't see her using those those glowing hands that we always see with Captain Marvel. She doesn't exhibit that, so that it doesn't make her Omega level. Yeah, in the comics, not in the comics, she did evolve into a secondary mutation, or a Mega level. but it was always temporary, because it's how he absorbed it. Yeah.
I don't know if you remember, but it was rumored years like way back. I remember reporting it and whatnot on the Bleeding Edge that at one point they were rumoring that Rogue was going to be in Captain Marvel 2 when it was still called Captain Marvel 2.
Yeah,
They were gonna bring Rogue in, right, and everything and whatnot, and everything. It was heavily rumored for a minute and whatnot. I remember discussing it and whatnot on a show one night.
Yeah, that's true. I did remember that. Because it made a lot of sense. Because
everybody covered it. It was a major rumor.
Yeah, because it's funny when Captain Marvel, the first movie came out. Not to jump up the top of the conversation when.
You and I would never do that.
No. But I never knew Captain Marvel. I was never a fan. I never knew Carol Danvers, and I never put two together about with Rogue, because I didn't know that she took the powers of this character, and so I was like, oh, that makes a lot of sense, because I thought that initially that was her secondary powers. I knew that the mutants can generate second mutation, which we see here in this episode, which we'll get into that scene. With a certain Hellfire Club.
No, but I mean, let's wrap it up. But just basically, I mean, they played all that out in X-Men Animated in like season 2. They did the whole like thing, right? Where they they brought in Carol Danvers and all that and whatnot, and she was in coma still from when Rogue got her powers.
Yeah, well, and that episode was important because she got to know that Mystique was her mom. That's another thing people need to remember from that episode. Because it was not only because she took the powers, it's because she was part of Mystique's Brotherhood of Mutants. Which was from the comics. If you read the Claremont.
That's true. Without Mystique, she wouldn't have the powers. So basically, Rogue, or I'm sorry, but where we end up is with the team in the Blackbird going to Genosha, right? Yeah. And so Genosha is basically, at least the part where they're at, is just all rubble. Right, it's like all just one big fucking like massive rubble, and so the X-Men start going around pitching in, right? Trying to pitch in Kenosha with the mutants, and and Beast sees Trish Tilby there, the news reporter. They go to talk, right, and like maybe get it on or something. Who knows? You never know with Beast and Trish Tilby. So then we go right to Rogue. And like right when you would go to Rogue, like landed like at this like next spot, you see Cap shield pop up, and there's fucking Captain America, baby, right? Like talk about like a nerd geek type motherfucker's like dream conquest, like situation. You're watching X-Men 97. It's Rogue's episode and shit, whatnot. Rogue of all fucking people, killing it, right? And then Captain America shows up too. Shit. Talk about fucking like getting like a fucking nerd Woody or whatever, whatnot, everything over some shit. You know what I'm saying? So anyways, so Captain America shows up, right? That motherfucker being so dope. And I love the voice acting of Rogue throughout the episode and during the Captain America scenes. But one thing I want to point out is that during the whole dialogue between Cap and Rogue, none of that shit makes any sense, because at no part since I've known of Captain America does he allow anybody to hold his shield like that. He doesn't do that. No one does that with Captain America. He doesn't walk around with other people and whatnot and have conversations with them and whatnot when they've picked up his shield, right? And like just and then let them hold it.
I mean,
you know what I'm saying? Like I'm just saying, like that for once, X-Men 97 has been perfect, but that did not make sense. It was all set up for the payoff so that she can throw the shield. And in real life, in the comics and in the MCU shit, we all know Cap does not. Nobody takes Cap's shield, just walks around with it and talks to him. Who the fuck does that? It's Cap's shield.
You're talking to Rogue, who is way. I mean, she's not Omega level, but she's very powerful. So
that's Captain America, motherfucker.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. But
what do you mean it doesn't matter? He's the most respected fucking comic book character, fucking like in that time period of the Marvel 616 universe. Like everyone respects Captain America, even if Rogue is pissed off about Gambit or whatnot. It's still Captain America.
Yeah, but you also have to understand that in this moment, she's just not, in her head right now.
Okay,
And,
you're right.
And then plus, with you have to understand the Avengers. We don't know. Here's the thing: the '90s like shared universe Marvel didn't have a Avengers team, and so I don't know if this version of Captain America has like we have a Avengers right now.
He mentions that he mentions the team. He says in the dialogue with Rogue that the reason why she tosses the shield is because he can't go with her, right? To go find Gyrick.
Yeah, it seemed more
He has
like,
to wait. No, he has to go by the book. He says that.
Yeah,
he says he can't just go. They know where he is, but he can't go. He's gonna get his team. He's talking about the Avengers. Rogue throws the shield to delay him, so she can take off to New Mexico or whatnot, and everything to go get Gyrick.
That's true, but just keep in mind, I think he was talking more of like strike team, because again, the '90s they were really they never had the Avengers during this universe, so I don't think he was really talking about that.
Well, we don't know. We never will know.
Yeah, exactly.
Sean doesn't know. I don't know. Dodge doesn't know. I don't. So we don't know.
But one thing I want to bring up, just to wrap up, he does know Wolverine.
Wrap up. I'm not even asking questions yet. I'm actually still finishing my monologue of the episode and whatnot. Why don't you give me a fucking minute?
Oh, let me address this.
When did we switch back over to question panel mode and whatnot?
No, because it is interesting. Because I mean, the X-Men, the show. When I was growing up, they never had Wolverine. Every time we have eccentric Wolverine, there's always a flashback of him with Captain America. And with this, I can understand he probably let Rogue do it because he knows Wolverine probably in the X-Men. So that's why he allowed that to happen in this episode, which makes sense. He respects Wolverine as a soldier. Remember, they worked together during World War II. So
this is Steve Rogers from the 1990s Marvel Comics 616 fucking Avengers team. He knows Rogue and the X-Men because he's teamed up with them multiple times and shit and whatnot. They know who each other are.
Oh yeah,
of course he knows Wolverine and whatnot. Wolverine's a reserve Avenger, but I'm just saying he knows who Rogue is. They've met.
Oh, I mean, maybe in the series, but we'll see. So anyway,
they've all met.
Oh no, they did. I'm just explaining the other possibility.
There's familiarity there in the conversation that they know each other. You can tell, can't they?
Yeah.
Can't you tell, Rashawn, that they know each other?
Yeah, I mean, but to break the tie, I did think he was referencing the Avengers, but
who else would he be talking about?
I mean,
yeah.
But
I get that.
This isn't the Secret Avengers Cap and shit when he was with Falcon and the Black Widow and all that shit and whatnot.
Oh no. I'm sorry. I mean, when I was growing up, because they have their shared universe, and they're never there's a Fantastic Four that's already they already crossed over each other before. But they never did a Avengers team show, and it was never connected to the '90s of those other shows. That's what I'm saying. That's why for this version of Captain America, I don't think he really mentioned the Avengers because there was an Iron Man.
If it's always been canon towards the comics and whatnot. So if they're going to introduce characters and whatnot, it's all going to be canonized and whatnot and be back in the comics. So at that point, that means he's Captain America from the Avengers. It's that simple. That's who he is. All right. That's exactly who he is. There's no other team.
I mean, well, I understand.
He just went solo, man. You know what I'm saying? Well, not right, but
I see where you're coming from, Andres. Though I see.
Yeah, no. I'm sorry. My bad. I'm a huge fan of these shows, and
that's okay. We respect your passion, sir.
Yeah.
All right. So Cap says he can't go with Rogue, right? To go with the Gyrick, right? And so Rogue's all pissed off. Now she's lit. She tosses his shield fucking a mile away and shit, whatnot, to slow him down. Then we go over to Sunspot and Jubilee in Genosha, right? And they're talking about Roberto telling his mom or talking, going to meet his mom or see his mom or some shit. And we get Beast and Trish Tilby. And now Beast is all pissed, right? I didn't really know what Trish said in the conversation that he didn't like, but like she said something he didn't like, right? So now Beast was all lit with her. So everybody's all pissed off in this episode, right? Basically. And so then Rogue pulls up, right, in New Mexico or whatever for Gyrick. And he says he don't know shit, right? He's like, I don't know nothing, you know, along with some other, you know, tidbits. And so Rogue uses her powers on Gyrick and has like some, you know, some visions, whatever you want to call, whatever it is, those the memories she takes, and she takes from people and whatnot when she uses her powers, right? And basically, you know, I'll stop there, and I'll go to you, Andres. What are your thoughts on that part of the episode, sir? Leading up to where you see Jean and Cyclops in Genosha, and they save Emma Frost.
Emma Frost. Okay. Well, the Beast, is the reporter from the comics, because I know he dates like a human in the comics. I guess this is the character that's from the comics where Beast dates.
It's Trish Tilby. Yeah, that's his girlfriend in the comics.
Okay, because I knew, like, because she was, you know, she was introduced in Remember Me from episode 5, and you know, I don't think I heard her name like clearly, and so I was very happy to see that, and it's kind of cool to see, you know, that from the comic book, see like a different side from Beast, you know, because they did like an episode from season 2 where he was in love with this blind person who was human, and it was a really great episode, and it's really cool to see that, like, you know, seeing like a mutant dating human, you know, because we don't have that sometimes in the X-Men universe sometimes, except for Xavier and Metager, you know, which we see in the original show as well. So very interesting. I think I don't know.
I always wanted to date a blind chick so I could fuck with her and tell her and pretend I was black, even though I'm white. Rashad, you know what I'm saying? It'd be the only way I'd be able to pull it off. You know what I mean? I can have a black name and everything and whatnot. You know?
No, don't do. No, I'm like.
I mean, she can still hear. So
on our 1 year anniversary and shit and whatnot, I could surprise her and be like, "Bitch, I'm white."
No, you know what? I'll bet money she would know you're white because your voice and just the way you act, it just doesn't fit.
Sir, are you trying to racially discriminate against me because my voice is too Caucasian? Are you saying or something?
I mean, hey, you're from a particular area. If you pronounce the words differently from, you know, like a New Yorker or a New Jersey, like myself, a New Jersey person, yeah, she could probably pick it up. You know, she probably knows that you're from like Florida.
Sir, I had one of those DNA test kits done, or whatnot, everything. I've got Wakandan in me. I've got Mexican in me. I've got all kinds of shit, motherfucker.
Okay, all right, yeah, sure, they will kind of Mexican.
I'm Shaquille O'Neal's 17th cousin.
Oh, really? Okay, and Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah, Michael B. Jordan too. Yeah.
All right, so I agree with Devin. You know, it's just melodrama. I mean, it's very melodrama for X-Men. You know, I'm like angry at the reporter because of what the situation is. You know, in Genosha, and it's fine. And he's very stubborn. Beast, and I think like she is trying to support her. Like she's doing her job. She's a reporter. What else she's going to do? Like she has to look at these like horrible things. That's her job. So it's nothing like bad she's doing, and she's not doing anything that's like any other big human that we saw in the show or previously. So but it's really cool, and it's great to see Scott being proactive as a leader. I like the team. It doesn't like sit around. It's like, wait, we're going to Kenosha here and show that they're not alone. So I really love that like superhero positivity.
The X-Men are not lazy.
Exactly. They're not lazy. They're not lazy like the Avengers. That's right. Ha! We got the Avengers. So or Fantastic Four or any other team in the Marvel universe. Anyway, or the Illuminati, like they're lazy. Come on. Like, how do you know that you send the Hulk up the space and then you don't know that he's gonna come back? Like, it's so stupid. Anyway. so that was really cool. The Rebetto and Jubilee thing was very intriguing. I like the way they're for like expanding their relationship, which is great. I like their pairing because it gives Jubilee more to do in the show. Yeah, because she was always kind of forgotten sometimes in the original show sometimes because she was like the only young person. There was no other young person, so it's great to have Sunspot here to balance that out, which is great. Their conversation was really great, and it's important to this episode, which is great. And then get into the Captain America Rogue thing, which was really spectacular. This is Josh Keaton from What If, and I think his voice here was so much better than What If. I don't know, I don't get it. Like I actually like this voice for Captain America. He like the animation design is directly from the '90s cartoon. If you've seen his appearance in Spider-Man, the '90s cartoon, like Secret Wars, and the Sinister Six storyline in his final season. It was like so like surreal for me because I love Captain America. He's a great character, and yeah, it was very interesting. Um, you know, uh, him talking to Rogue and then building up the mystery about this organization, the OCT. I was very intrigued about that. I don't think this is like a first time hearing this organization, so it was like okay, interesting. And then her going to first of it was like balls to her that like to take the shield and then throw it, which was so funny. And and I just like how Kinderman just like didn't react to this, like oh boy, you can feel that he wants to help her, but he cannot do it, because he's Captain America. He's trying to stand for what's the suit means for the American and all that. So it's always tough. Same thing with X-Men. They have to stand for the mutants because that's who they are. So I really like that contrast. How like our superhero stands for something. Like Spider-Man stands for the little people. And then Daredevil stands for Hell's Kitchen, and then the X-Men's mutants, and then Captain America is for the American public and all that. So and then when we get to Madripoor, right? Or no, Mexico City. Sorry, Mexico City, and when she attacks, Guyrich, right? And I it's kind of stupid when he brought up, he brought up Jean, because the psychic interrogation from the first episode. He doesn't realize she's gonna sort his memories, and man, it was crazy. I, dug the animation when she was trying to absorb her. I liked how they animate her absorbing power. I think it was the first time she's absorbing something, right? Because like we just so far from these episodes, she's been like hitting and like flying. Like this is the first time I see her absorbing something, because we see her, with Neo, able to like not be absorbed from her. So it was cool to see her like green energy, like absorbing like ammunition coming back from the original show, and seeing that, and then her absorbing like somehow like, he's been protected by some sentinel thing or not. So it was really intriguing. So I thought this sequence was really great. It was great to see Captain America, confirming, the Marvel universe is, here, as usual.
You lost me like 5 minutes ago, bro. I'm going over to Rashad on you at this point. Rashad, what are your thoughts, sir?
Fuck you, sir. Go ahead, sir.
Yes, sir. I loved it. I thought the table setting for the episode was really good, and I thought the throwing the shield was really fucking funny. Kind of taking the piss out of, everyone loves the Avengers and especially Cap, but Rogue she's like a missile this episode. She has blinders on to any and everything else that's not a Trask. So I dug it. I do think that was the part of the episode maybe where I thought there were a little too many characters going on, because I wasn't sure what the actual focus of the show.
Damn okay.
I can hear you now.
Okay. It's something to do with that.
I'm sorry, Rashawn, you want to finish up? Well, you want to finish, go back like 15 seconds and finish what you were saying before because I couldn't hear you. Can you hear it? Can you hear me, Rashawn?
I can hear you. I think something's wrong with his side.
Oh, Rashawn's with us, folks. We're just having some technical difficulties over here.
Technology.
Tell him we can't hear him.
Okay, hold on. Let me do this.
Oh, so anyways, while we're waiting for Rashad to come back on, I just want to point out that you know, basically, I thought that it went so quick, that scene where Rogue grabs Gyrick up and uses her powers, I really couldn't really make out what she saw. I think it was like Master Mold, wasn't it? Or something like that?
Yeah. It was one of those Sentinel, other Sentinel, like, villains called Nimrod. Like, because the face was like a Nimrod kind of looking thing.
Rashawn, can you hear me?
I posted something in the live chat. Hopefully you can see it. Okay, he's
Now he sees us, folks. Look at that.
okay. He drops it. He doesn't know what's happening. So okay, something's going on. Technical difficulties, as Jeff say.
You might want to drop out and come back in.
Yeah.
Will you message that him in the chat real quick and whatnot? Tell him to drop out and come back in.
Yeah.
So, anyways, folks, in the meantime, like I was saying,
I heard him.
Okay,
he's back.
Oh, we got you. All right, there you are, Rashad. No problem. All right, technical difficulties are over, folks. You want to go back? I lost you when you were on your contribution and whatnot and everything. We lost you like towards the end. You want to go back and just finish what you were saying before?
I think maybe I was just talking about the size of the cast.
Okay,
I think.
Go ahead.
Yeah, just that maybe it got a little lost in the sauce in the middle of the episode before everyone gets back together. And yeah, I kind of got lost a little bit, but I still dug the episode. But this was yeah.
Hey, technical difficulties will cause you to do that and like lose track of things and whatnot. That's all right. Let's move forward and whatnot, everything. And I'll have another question for you guys in just a minute anyway. So we go to Jean having a hard time, like basically with Cyclops trying to like clear up rubble to try to find survivors because she's experiencing all of like the psychic energy and whatnot of like the dead and things like that and whatnot. And they're like lost dreams and things like that and like final thoughts and all that kind of shit. So she's overwhelmed. They find a survivor. It's Emma Frost, who has somehow like managed to use like a diamond transformation power, right? That kept her alive. So Cyclops is crying like a baby, right? And everything and whatnot. You know, it's very emotional. Basically Trask contacts them through the Blackbird. And he's like, you know, come to Madripoor or whatever, right? Like there's some really crazy shit going on, even more crazier than me, you know? Like, even like Sentinel's even like more intense than Genosha going on and shit, right? Yeah. So, you know, Sunspot and Jubilee go to see Birdo's mom, and he tells her he's a mutant, and she basically like already knew it, handles it well and everything and whatnot. But then, like at the end, because you have to have the soap opera shit, like says some shit to him about how he's got to like keep it low key, or it'll affect like the the stock the stock market numbers of the business or whatever and whatnot, you know. Or like, the whatever, affect the business. So whatever, they add that intrigue. There's that whole deal, right? That Nightcrawler wakes up Rogue, right? His sister, his half sister, which is a cute, little short scene with them. And she finally gets to vent a little bit about, Remy's death. And we go to Bastion with Gyrick, right? And, at that point, we know it's Bastion. And the X-Men enter the building in Madripoor. We see OZT again, which is from the comics. And we're going to pull up something on Bastion here in just a minute and all that after this next round of questions. But then we see Trask. He's all crazy and shit on his roof. He says OZT is this new group that came out of like his Sentinel program. or whatever, right? And like basically toss some shit about Mr. Sinister as like this, brilliant geneticist, and then wants to kill himself. Rogue catches him and then tosses him off the building, right? And some of the X-Men are like, what the fuck? Some of them are like, good. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're glad you did it, right? Well, all of a sudden, right, when Rogue is dropping these really good lines about how, she lost her man got taken and all this shit, right? Like, she takes a beam of energy from, Trask as a Prime Sentinel, right? Like, he's become like, he's like died and like come back to life as like a program Prime Sentinel, right? Sentinel human Sentinel. And great animation during this battle scene. Morph goes into Quicksilver mode to like drop some punches on him and shit, whatnot. Really dope. I forgot about Morph for a minute. I thought Quicksilver had decided to join the episode. And I was like, oh shit, it's Morph, right? I was like, Quicksilver's not here. I was like, is S Factor here? Oh shit, S Factor's coming? For a minute, that's what I was thinking. But like Prime Sentinel, Trask is no joke. So he beats Morph's ass, right? And beats everybody's ass, essentially. Like just starts kicking everybody's ass, essentially. Cyclops is the only one that can really like stand his ground with him. Then all of a sudden a grenade gets dropped in his Cable, right? Cable fucks him up because he knows what he's doing with his tech and shit. And Jean walks up and gets this like psychic blast and realizes it's Nathan. Cable snaps this shit off at Cyclops like, no, Dad, we'll talk another time, Dad, or whatever, whatnot, or some shit, right? And then, so Cyclops is acknowledging that's his son for the first time. And we go back to Sinister and Bastion. Sinister's bitching, saying that Bastion, he doesn't like how Bastion's handling shit. And then we get this creepy ass ending scene with Bastion like shaving Magneto and all this shit and whatnot, who's still alive, right? So I'll go to you, Rashad. What are your thoughts on that chunk of the episode, sir? Take as much time as you want.
This was a lot.
I know. I gave you a big swath to talk about.
Yeah. I think Rogue's character arc is my favorite thing about this episode. A lot of superheroes or a lot of different comic characters have these moral codes or things that they will or won't do. And I think her grief is so justified. And what she does at the end of the episode is, maybe not what the good guys would do, but it's so earned and justified that I really dug it. There was a little bit of a moment where I wasn't sure who we were chasing because someone's killed in their bed, in their sleep. And that wasn't Trask, right?
That was Gyrick. That was
Gyrick. Okay.
Bastion like spotted him.
Great. Yeah, I was a little confused for like 2 seconds, had to rewind, and then I was caught up. But the action scene was great. Quicksilver popping up had me confused for a second as well. And then Morph, revealing himself. I was wondering if he was able to actually use his super speed, but I guess it's a physical attribute of Quicksilver. So I think when he morphs, I think he actually can manifest the ability or whatnot of the character. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because he did perform like Quicksilver super speed and super all that. He did.
And he did Blob like a few episodes ago. So I just went with it. The Cable reveal was something that I thought they were probably going to save for a little bit, but they kind of just got that right out of the way, and it's like another wrinkle for Scott and Jean to deal with, and I just love they're just kind of piling on the soap opera with the two of them, so I'm digging it, and I think they're just laying the groundwork with this first season for whatever they're planning. I know they're already working on season 3 right now, but I feel like a lot of the groundwork is being laid to kind of give everybody a chance to grow and for storylines to kind of branch out. And there's just so much more story and content to be told for the next few seasons. So I really like how they're doing that, but not sacrificing the action. And, kind of the entertainment value of the X-Men, because we still want to see, powers and fucking shit up, which is what they did at the end of the show. I do think the Sunspot and the Jubilee scene with him coming out, quote unquote, to his parents was really well done. It kind of mirrors Iceman and X2, and I really liked it. It wasn't overwrought or too on the nose. It was just really subtle, and then the turn of her kind of asking him to keep it a secret was kind of heartbreaking. And that's just some of the really quick, because they got to get to the next scene, but it's some of the quick writing that just is really well done. And again, like you said in the beginning, hats off to Bo for kind of laying the groundwork for these characters. The Magneto thing, not a surprise, but like you guys said, there's no way Magneto was dead. Like, we knew that, but it was still a great moment with Bastion kind of asserting his power and giving him a shave and just being a dick, and you kind of just want to see what's going to happen next. So I thought it ended, like I said, this was my favorite episode so far, and I thought the ending was a really good part of that.
Well, I mean, the only question I've got is,
who's going to marry you, Haranam? Like, you have a beard. No one's going to date you, Haranam. You have a beard. No one's going to be your boyfriend.
maybe somebody will date you, Herdod, if fucking Bastion gives you a shave. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, and like, there you go. See, it all connects, maybe, at the MCU's bleeding edge. Andre the Pop Culture Guy, sir, what are your thoughts on that portion of the segment?
Fantastic or extraordinary, because one of the best action scenes, seeing the mutants using their powers against this Sentinel Trax hybrid, which was kind of cool. This was mandatory. It's kind of cool to see mandatory in the X-Men universe, which was great. And I really love that scene with Nightcrawler and Rolf talking to each other, because they are siblings. I mean, like, their mother was Mystique, so I like that the show hasn't forgotten about that. Very tender scene. I like that Rolf kind of talked about her feelings about Gammon, and of course the scene when she dropped Trask, and it's like, she caused, I love the men, I love both men, and it's crazy. And then I like how while she does her monologue, you get bam, Sentinel Trask attacked her like which was crazy, and it was full on power, which is crazy, and it's very scary. I really like that design to give the Sentinel Trask, with like similar like nanites affecting his skin and all that. So it's pretty cool. And he sounded like Mr. Sinister too. Like, I don't know if Mr. Sinister was like piling tracks, because like he sounded like that while he was talking to Cyclops towards the end of the fight sequence. And I can't believe you guys ever mentioned when Morph got kind of like stunned down, and then Wolverine say, "Morph, no!" And like it's like attack, because in the show he's like, "I will avenge you, Morph," and it's like, "Morph, no!" Great. I was like, yes, we got Wolverine say something with Morph.
This one's for you, Morph.
It's like,
I will avenge you.
I'm sorry, I just had to read that out. When Morph got down, like Wolverine's like, "No, Morph, no!" Oh god. So very fantastic, fight sequence. Like, everyone's just powering down. I was kind of surprised Cable came in. So yeah, I'm very intrigued about that. And I like I'm happy that's I'm not a huge Cyclops fan. I'm happy that he's getting like something to do finally. The X-Men movies totally shafted Cyclops so many times, and so it's very refreshing to see Summers being the leader, and seeing him being focused. Same thing with Jean as well. Like, she didn't have the bash shaft like Cyclops, but she never got the proper development as she's getting in this show, which is great. So I'm very intrigued about that, like, whole drama with the family. Huge family. I mean, I don't know if they're gonna bring another Summers, Rachel, or Hope, or the other the Falcon one that's also the Summers that I forgot when you, Jeff, brought up in last week. I was like, oh yeah, one of the guards is Summers, and it's just a huge family. So, yeah, I was not surprised by Magneto surviving. I mean, I knew it was like it's just like a horror movie. If you don't see the body, it doesn't mean like it's not dead yet. And I mean, of course, this is still Tyrion's program. We didn't see bodies, but they confirmed that Gavin's dead. But Magneto was kind of like, okay. So, and the villain, I was kind of surprised we got this major villain working with Sinister, so I'm very intrigued about that. Yeah, so I'm very curious. I before the show started, I'm currently watching episode it was 8 of the 3-part Tarlin's was it Tarlin's is extinction. So I'm very curious what's going on with this part. So anyway, yeah, very great episode. I think this fourth or third favorite episode. I mean, Remembering Me is a great episode. Really love it. But it's just close.
Okay, so as far as addressing who we're dealing with Bastian, right? Andres, I'll go to you if you have anything that you want to talk about Bastian, and I'll go to everybody. But basically, from what we have here on the bio from Marvel.com characters, is that his biography is the X-Men force the combined Master Mold and Nimrod through the Siege Perilous. A humanoid Sentinel hybrid emerges from the other side. Raised by a human, Sebastian Gilberte learns of the mutant threat through the media, which touches the hidden memories of his predecessors, directives, and he grows to hate mutants. As Bastian, he enacts Operation Zero Tolerance, OZT. Though captured and destroyed many times over, Bastian often returns with a new murderous plan. So he's a human Sentinel hybrid, I guess. Bastian is born when the giant robotic Sentinel Master Mold, having absorbed the advanced Sentinel prototype Nimrod into its systems, fights the X-Men, who see no other way to stop the virtually indestructible amalgam except to force it through the Siege Perilous, a pan-dimensional portal, which subjects those who pass through to the judgment of the universe's higher powers. Re-emerging from the portal as a amnesiac human Sentinel hybrid with seemingly immortal essence, Bastian's prime directives are soon reawakened, and he begins assembling the International Anti-Mutant Strike Force Operation Zero Tolerance, OZT, that we see in the episode. So essentially, that is kind of the skinny on Bastian. Does anybody else want to add anything to that in terms of like who Bastian is from the comics in general?
Well, do we want to bring up more about Operation Zero Tolerance, or do you want to save that next week?
We could. Why don't we save that for when they actually talk about it in the show?
Yeah, because this isn't part of a major X-Men storyline that I think they can do in season 2. So, but we'll save that because I think just reading on the notes that I had to gather for this character, I was like, okay, so maybe it could happen because with Xavier and all that.
I never knew much about them from the comics, from the time period that I used to read X-Men. Like he really wasn't that. I knew of him, but I really didn't know a lot about him. But basically, he seems like an interesting villain. His backstory is definitely interesting. If you look at his bio, he's extremely powerful, right? Like, I mean, I don't know how they're going to portray him in the series, but like, I haven't seen episode 8 yet, but in his bio, it says that he's very powerful. He can time travel and shit like that and whatnot, and create like time rifts and shit and all that and whatnot, and shoot energy blasts and shit and all that kind of crazy shit. All right, so why don't we go ahead and rate episode 7, right? And do our final thoughts. That way we can go ahead and plug Rashawn out of here, and Andres, you and I can wrap the show up. I'll start. I'll drop my rating. We'll do 1 through 10, and I'll drop my rating on this one at a 8.5. And I don't have any final thoughts. Good episode. Another good solid episode. Andres?
Yeah. No, I agree. I'll give it a 9 out of 10. I think it's a very great episode. It continues from Remember Me, so that's good. It's much more like it's at least focused than the last episode of Life Death Part 2, which is not a bad episode, but here it's just I care more about what happened in the aftermath, so I give it an 9 out of 10.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll say 9 too. I thought there were a few maybe storyline stumbles of just, the between Bastion, Trask, and Gyrick. I think they're kind of getting mixed up as who's the true big bad, but I think we have a clear idea of that leaving this episode. But outside of that, I thought it was really great. I thought some of the imagery and the dialogue is really maybe a little too relevant to today, especially with the X-Men going and kind of helping people that were injured in Genosha. But I think they handled it really well. It's not overly preachy, but it's also, there's something to say behind the X-Men message. But I really liked it, especially Beast, kind of quoting MLK, a nod to kind of who Xavier and Magneto are and who they represent. And that's just something that X-Men has always done really well, while still giving you an entertaining story and show. So I'd
Sure.
say 9.
Yep. The proper usage of historical figures and terms and things like that and whatnot, that aren't done like in a, in a way that's non-Marvel-esque. You know what I mean? Whatnot,
Right.
where they've always kept it real in that department.
The show doesn't stop to kind of tell you something. It's using the show. Yeah.
They've definitely escalated the adult tone to at the S-Men animated series to fit for our time period now. With the show, without question.
Yeah.
But all right, well, you know what? That is our review and recap for X-Men, 97, episode 7. Rashawn, I'm gonna go ahead and pull up your pod if you want to, say a couple words and whatnot, everything on your behalf of your team. And we'll get you the hell out of here so you can get some sleep, brother.
I appreciate it. Yeah. When Cineval's Attack, we were a movie podcast for about 4 years. We love each other. We've been friends for about a decade, and we have very different movie opinions. So we jumped on a mic for 4 years, and we talked about movies that already came out, movies that just released. We had formats, showdowns, a bunch of gauntlets and drafts, and it was just really fun. We did end the show about a month ago, but it's been really great. It was a great experience, and I know every show says this and it's true, but we also have some of the best listeners in the world. So they made it a really great experience for us. And I'm also just want to say thank you so much for having me on.
Well, and we're, I'm certainly happy to come over and be a guest and whatnot and everything and complete our collaboration, fully and whatnot. You guys just let me know if there's a spot for me or whatever, whatnot, on one of your shows on the panel or whatever, whatnot, for one of your movies reviews. We certainly review a few movies here and there over here at the Bleeding Edge, so I'm familiar and experienced with doing them, and I'd be happy to come over and hang out with you guys and meet the team. But listen, we'll send you off. It was really good having you. You did a great job, and hopefully we'll see you again soon.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, guys.
No
All right,
problem.
brother.
All right. Thank you.
Take
All
care.
right, man. Have a good Tuesday.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right.
Two of us.
All right, now that our guest is gone, we can go back to our usual R-rated debauchery, white vision penis, fucking.
No. I mean, I'm fine with rated R, but not white penis, please. Don't do that again. That was just a night.
I want to see that big booty chick. The big booty chick.
That girl got some ass too.
I do it on the daily. They treat me really nicely. They all their money got me wearing fly. I see what they keep giving, so I keep on taking. And no,
She's busting it open.
My lovely lady lumps. Check it out.
Hell yeah, baby. That chick was busting it open, baby, with the underwear pulled down and everything, bro. Folks, I don't know what to say about that.
I think that's pants. I don't think that's underwear.
No, those were under. She pulled her underwear right down there at the end.
Really? No.
Yeah, that was her straight ass, bro.
I mean, her ass is very big, but she still had underwear. If you see it.
Nah, they were off. She took them off there at the end. That's
No.
why I said she busted open.
No. Put that up again.
I'm telling you, folks. I like. Come on, you all saw it. That chick pulled her underwear down.
What mark? I saw it. I didn't. No.
Look, sir, I'll play it again in another show. Believe me.
Yeah,
She had her pants off. Then she just had her underwear on. Then she just pulled them down completely so that like you could see her pussy. That's why I said she busted it open. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
She pulled her panties right down and everything and whatnot. They were like on like pulled back, like like half off.
I believe you.
Hey, I'm true knowledge, true sec knowledge, baby. I pay attention to these things. Come on now.
Oh, true sec knowledge. Great. Anyway.
True sex knowledge, baby.
Hey, I'm the one
we're currently watching now. That's my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
So
She didn't seem all that concerned about her husband dying anyway.
Yeah.
I told you she didn't love him. She didn't love him.
Yeah.
I'm
you know
just
what's
saying.
funny? Yeah. You know what's so funny in the episode? John, our boy, our white boy here, like he's like
Gotta go racial again. Gotta go racial.
I'm not. I'm not gonna say Blackthorn, Blackstone. Let's stick with the script of.
I don't want to hear the word black out of that mouth again, motherfucker.
Whoa. Well, I say his last
All
name.
this white black shit. I don't know what you're trying to do here, but
Well, folks, did you see this? This is completely racist. I wasn't expecting racial discrimination in this show at all.
it's either Blackstone or nothing, baby.
Well, that's pretty, all right, John, Mr. WB, if you know that. Anyway, when he was trying to beg them to like wait for him, it's like, come on, dude, you could at least swim and take your stuff out and to the bowl. And it's like he just stands there and it's like, I will die in honor, death to honor, right? And it's like, oh okay, that's up to you. You can beat all those people, but that's their doom. And so of course he did. They do their salute and it's like, Godspeed, sir.
There you go, folks. The best of Andres the pop culture guy right there.
Yeah, you got me.
Best of Andres the pop culture guy moments here on the Bleeding Edge. All right, folks, we're going to watch some Furiosa trailers, and then we're going to talk about the Furiosa film. Andres and I don't know shit about Furiosa, and that's okay. But we're still going to talk about it, whatnot, and tell you what we think of the trailers, and whether or not you should pay to go see it. Remember her? Holy shit! Those ending scenes, like shots where they show her at the end, look fucking dope, dude. Holy fuck!
I know. George Miller knows how to end the trailer, giving you that. Oh, it's so incredible. Oh, I love it. And by the way, I know Furiosa. I seen the road, the Fury Road, not Road Warrior.
I watched it too, but I mean, I only watched it like once or twice, and I don't remember that much about it. Like, Anna Taylor-Joy looks really cool in that. I don't know how good the movie's going to be, but she looks really cool as Furiosa. I think are they doing another one of those Mad Max deals where it looks like she's carrying some kind of tanker at some point?
Yeah.
And she's being chased and shit, and whatnot, and all that, like that same trope. Don't you see it? Don't you see a part where she's doing that? She's like leading a caravan or whatever, whatnot.
Yeah, I think so. I'm very curious where we're gonna do that because like that final shot could be like the final like shot of the movie, right? That we saw. Yeah, I mean,
it looks like at some point like they leave like the city or whatever, whatnot, and all that, and like there's that part where she's like leading the caravan. Then she like gets the new arm and all that shit and whatnot, and then she like takes on like Hemsworth's villain at the city at the end. You know what I'm saying? Whatnot. Those are the shots you see with her with the sniper rifle and all that shit, whatnot. I think that's like the final battle.
Yeah, I think I agree with you because that makes a lot more sense because because usually you see those like big, like lawn chase scenes during.
You figure whenever you see her with the arm, like that's later on in the film that she gets the new arm.
Yeah, no, I agree. But yeah, I really love this trailer. I think I've been a huge fan of the Mad Max series. I've seen pretty much all of them except for the third film. What is it called? Under the Thunder.
The trailers are very visually impressive. It's just a matter of like how good the writing is and how good the acting is and all that and whatnot and how the story plays out. Like that last Mad Max movie with Tom Hardy was not that good.
Oh really? Okay.
I didn't think it was like anything to like go like boast about or anything like that and whatnot. It was watchable, like like it was entertaining, but it was not like Mel Gibson level Mad Max type movie.
Whew. This is where we will differ. I disagree. I think it still felt like Mad Max. I just think if it was still male, still male. I think
no one's ever gonna. I mean, you can't really compare like how things looked and all that and whatnot. Like like when it comes to like all that with the Mel films and the stuff that comes out now.
Yeah,
just because those are older films. I just mean that like I felt like the quality was better.
No, I can see why. I mean the trilogy, the original trilogy is very unique. Nothing will top the original, the sequel. I mean, I still love Road Warrior. I think that's still the best Mad Max film. I mean,
2 and 3 are the best. Yeah. I reviewed one time with Jay Rant over on his podcast. I didn't like 1 that much.
I like the first one. It's very because the thing is, everyone is so used to the post-apocalyptic, Mad Max. It's so weird to see the first one not being like that. I mean, it sort of is, but it's just like we're not gone into the World Warrior, universe where like it's the Mad Max universe, But yeah. I love the series. I mean, my dad loved this series, and me and my dad saw the very
I think sometimes people forget that Mel did Mad Max, and like he's kind of underrated for that shit.
I mean, remember, this is like
it'd be interesting to actually look at the numbers and see how they did box office wise and shit like that, and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? Like thinking about from a movie review standpoint,
They did very well. In a very low budget. I mean,
they were popular. Yeah, the Mad Max films with Mel. Yeah, they were popular.
Yeah,
even I know that.
Yeah, so it was really incredible. I mean, it helped a lot to increase, the Australia, as a film industry. If you think about it, it's very important.
It helped establish Mel because those like 2 and 3 came out in the early '80s, right? So like that was before Lethal Weapon.
Yeah, it's before Lethal Weapon. I mean, the first one came out in '79, and then World War came out in 1981. So it was very early.
I think Lethal Weapon 1 came out in between Mad Max 2 and 3.
No. It came after the third film. Lethal Weapon came out in '87. The third came out in '85.
Okay,
I remember correctly. I haven't seen the third one.
And Tina Turner was in it, baby.
I know. I love Tina Turner. She's a great singer.
She was good in that movie too.
Oh, really? I need to see that. Very soon. I probably will. To leave up the ferry road.
Yeah, so the trailers look good. Anna Taylor-Joy looks really good as Furiosa. She looks tight.
Yeah, I think she's definitely a spinning image of Charlize Theron. So I think it really worked. I'm excited for Chris Hemsworth as the villain. That part I'm really excited for. I mean, he looks so.
Yeah, he looks good.
Yeah, so I'm really excited for that because I love Chris Hemsworth. He's a really good actor.
And they have that whatever Joe character back or whatever whatnot.
Yeah, Immortal Joe from
Immortal Joe. Yeah,
which is good because you're connecting from from the last movie, for Furiosa.
But this is a prequel though. It's a prequel film.
Yeah, exactly. So it's cool to see like how she got into Immortal Joe because I'm very curious how she like end up with him towards this movie. So yeah, I'm very excited for it. I mean, I can't believe it's going to be next week, right? Next week is coming out. This Friday we got the Planet of the Apes, that looks good. So yeah, I'm very excited for.
She was in the New Mutants movie, wasn't she? Did she play
Magic?
Yeah, I never finished that. I got like halfway through it and I stopped watching it. Never went back and finished it. She was really good. She was like the best part of it was her Magic character. I thought, yeah, from what I saw, I got to go back and finish it. But do you have any final thoughts? I don't really have anything else to say. I'd say if folks, honestly, my advice would be I'd go see it in the theater. I'd pay to go see it. I probably will. So that's all. That's my take on it based off those trailers. Like I would say go pay the money and go see that shit in the theater.
I agree with Jeff here. Go see it next week in theaters. I hope we get another sequel or a sequel to this, or another Mad Max film down the road. Because I love this.
You don't have to go see it next week, folks. You can go after the week after if you want. Fuck Andres. Don't worry about him.
Wow. Fuck you. You racist mother.
Why are you trying to live people's lives and shit, Andres? What if they have important stuff to do this week or some shit? Or this week?
I'm just saying just go and see in the big theaters. That's all. You're fucking You're so funny. You're so funny.
Yeah, I know I am. I know I'm funny too. I do. I enjoy it. I take a lot of pride in it.
Well, good. I'm very happy you take pride.
I love having big panels of people just laughing and shit and whatnot and all my shit.
Oh my god.
It's fun.
Hey, at least you got a good clip for me. And I do like that clip. You
like that clip that I put up for you?
Oh yeah, I love that. Yeah, I think that totally sums up our friendship as host.
Did we already reach our 1 year anniversary mark on the Bleeding Edge report yet?
Well, the Edge report. Ooh,
did we already pass it?
Yeah, I mean, if you say like a year, yeah, it's been a year since we've been doing the show since August. Yeah, it's been a year. We'll do something in August because that's when we started. I think that'd be a good time to celebrate. And yeah,
I didn't realize it. I didn't realize it'd been over a year.
Oh yeah, I mean, we started in the summer, like the late summer, and then we've been doing this for a while, which is great. So
the first, they're gonna have at the Cons Festival. They're gonna have the first episode of Daryl Dixon played at Cons in June.
Really? In June.
So you could figure that we're gonna get Daryl Dixon probably in June or July to cover.
Yeah.
So folks, we'll be back to cover Daryl Dixon again here like soon, like within like the next couple of months. We'll be doing Walking Dead again.
Yeah.
What a shot.
Yeah,
it'll be fun. We're looking forward for that one. I know that's probably the most since we've been doing the Bleeding Edge report. Daryl Dixon season 2 is what I'm most excited to like review out of everything that we have to cover.
Ooh, yeah. That and the House of Dragon for me.
That and the House of Dragon, yes.
Yeah, I'm very excited for that.
The House of the Dragon is kind of scary because it's taxing. I know it's going to take. I'm going to put a lot of work into it, whatnot, and all that. So like that makes me a little bit weary.
Yeah.
Those are gonna be some long shows.
Somewhat. I've been watching the first season. I'm up to episode 4. And it's not too long. I mean the first 2 were very long, like 1 hour, and then I think episode 3 or 4 are like 50 or 45 minutes.
They're long episodes.
Yeah,
they're all close to an hour long, almost every episode, and then some of them are over an hour.
True. I mean, hey,
it's a lot. Are you getting caught up? Are you finally getting caught up with the House of the Dragon? So you're ready for season 2? You know we're going to be doing it next month.
Yep. I'm up to episode 4. So this week I'll probably get back again and finish it up. And so
you should take notes. It's going to be almost all the same characters are going to be back for season 2. You should like get get their names, write them down and whatnot and everything, right? So you have them prepared.
Yeah, that's true. All right. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
You're welcome, sir. No problem. So basically, our final, chapter of the show here is our Armor Wars segment. Now, there's really not much of a deep dive we can do on Armor Wars. We just basically wanted to talk about the fact that it's alive still, right?
Yeah.
Like, it turns out that it's been heavily reported in the last couple of weeks that Armor Wars is still alive. It was thought that maybe it was one of the properties that or productions that had been canceled, right? Because literally, like Feige, like first talked about it and like dropped it at like Comic-Con 2021 or some shit, right?
Yeah.
Like, and we've heard nothing since then about it. No plot, like nothing, right? Like, there's been no information at all. Like, out of all the MCU films, there's probably the least information for Armor Wars. So we still don't have a release date on it, but we know it's coming out in Phase 6, and they are still doing it. We're going to get an Armor Wars, right?
Yeah.
So, Andres, what do you have? What do you have to say? What did you dig up about in terms of a plot, or what's going on with Armor Wars?
Not much. The thing is, they haven't really addressed how much is going to be faithful to the comics. It seems like they're taking from the 1987 run, so that was the first Armor Wars, because there's
do I need to pull that up right now or something like that and whatnot so that we can talk about it, or do you already have something?
Yep, I just sent the Hollywood Reporter right now. This is from like 2 years ago. So just to give context for people, back in 2022, when everything was getting restructured, a Hollywood Reporter brought up that the Marvel Armor Wars is going to turn into a movie, and that was when we announced. Now, they didn't state which phase, because that's still a little up in the air. Because it could be in Phase 6, maybe, but I wonder where like, are they waiting to think if this is going to be in another phase? But yeah. So right there, the title Armor Wars is from the storyline that's published from the Iron Man comic books from '97 from David McElhenney and Bob Langton. A great run. It's been adapted a couple of times in the cartoons, in the Iron Man cartoon shows, and I like it's a great storyline, because it's where Iron Man has to stop particularly Justin Hammer, because Justin Hammer takes a lot of the Iron Man design technology and sail it to the the biggest dealers / villains of the Marvel universe. So
that's right. Hammer is actually is a major player in this comic book storyline. So we know we're going to get Hammer back in Armor Wars.
Yeah, and that's going to be. I think. Hey, Raph, how you doing, buddy?
What's up, Raph?
Yeah, Raph. I say like Star Trek 2, the Wrath of Khan. Saying it right? Yeah, the Wrath of Khan. So anyway,
Wrath has been racking up a lot of shows on the panel lately, baby. He's been cranking them out.
Yeah. You see, I need Wrath to be here to defend me and help me out.
Why do you always need to be defended and all this shit and whatnot and everything and whatnot? I don't abuse you and all that.
Oh, really? You accuse me of racist?
I accuse you of things at times, but I don't abuse you. You don't need to be defended,
folks. You're the eyewitness here. It's gonna be the clip that
I don't call you out and be like, that's not true or some shit all the time or something or whatnot. That doesn't happen very often. I'm not like no, I don't believe that or whatever. That doesn't happen very often. So
yeah,
just to be clear.
Oh yeah, he's offending yourself. Now you're offending.
I'm not trying to say I'm innocent. It ain't like that. I'm not even trying to play like that. So, anyways, Armor Wars, right? Andres, you had mentioned to me on a show recently that you'd heard about Sharon Carter coming back.
Yes,
I saw some stuff about some rumors about Sharon Carter coming back too, along with Veil, right?
Yep.
And Damage Control being a part of the film, right?
Yep.
Like a major element of the film.
Yep.
And the major reason why they wanted to do it as a film, not as a series, is because of money. Because they realized that a 6-episode series of Armor Wars would have probably cost them like $350 to $400 million fucking dollars.
Yeah.
Because of all the CGI, all the suit shit and everything and whatnot that's required to make this kind of production, right? That's why they changed it over to a film. Because, it's too much money to invest into something like a Disney Plus series, like Secret Invasion. They don't make that much money off those series. You know what I'm saying? The money's made off the films. So if they're going to invest a lot of money into a project like Armor Wars, they'd rather try to like reap a bigger benefit from it by doing it as a film. That way they can make money off the box office.
Yeah, and plus, I feel like Armor Wars could be important to Secret Wars. I mean, that's another thing they probably want to do is just have another rounded, not connected.
War Machine Rhodey is like what we should have a term for them. He's like a second level original 6 Avenger, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? So think about it. He's an OG. People will pay to go see him in the theater. If he's the star of the shit or whatever, whatnot, and all that, he's like a Scarlet Witch level, Vision, Falcon, Winter Soldier level,
Loki.
like OG, kind of like Star Lord. You know what I mean? Guardians type. Yeah, you feel me? Spider-Man.
Yeah. No. And first off, as an Iron Man fan, I mean, before Robert Downey Jr. and the MCU thing, made Iron Man popular. I mean, War Machine was more popular than Iron Man. A lot of people forget about this. He was the coolest guy because he had the coolest armor. Think about it, and he has a big fan base. So
I know. I've always loved. I don't know. I've never really met anybody that doesn't think the War Machine armor isn't cool. You know what I'm saying?
Come on.
It really is. With all the guns and shit and whatnot, everything. Who doesn't like that shit?
Yeah, and it annoys me with the MCU. They haven't stuck with the Iron Man 2 design of War Machine, and he has got these other designs the Iron Painter suit is great. But
if they actually gave him room to do more shit with the War Machine armor and whatnot and everything in that film on his own, he could do some cool shit, right? Yeah. With his suit and all that and whatnot, with his weaponry, they could do some interesting shit. It could be dope. But are you aware? Do you realize, folks, that I'm a pop culture guy? Are you aware that literally, Rhodey stopped becoming Rhodey and became a Skrull right when he got hurt after Captain America: Civil War and he had his operation and everything and whatnot? That's when he got kidnapped. So, the Rhodey that's going to be in Armor Wars is going to be the one that was saved from being kidnapped by the Skrulls in Secret Invasion.
Wow.
During Infinity War and all that shit, Endgame and all that and whatnot, that was Skrull Rhodey.
Okay. So now you brought that up. So another thing that I think they want to do to make this movie is kind of confirm either not that the Rhodey that we've been following is the real Rhodey or the Skrull.
This is Rhodey now. The one we're going to see in Armor Wars is Rhodey.
Yeah. Let me ask you something, Jeff. You think they're going to address that? The whole Skrull thing.
In some way, yeah, I'm sure they'll probably, there'll be some dialogue or whatever, whatnot. They'll brush it off.
Okay, because
I think Marvel Studios wants to distance itself from all that after Secret Invasion.
Yeah, that's my thing. It's I don't like Secret Invasion.
You saw that deleted scene, right, or whatever, whatnot. With Captain America and Don Cheadle. Yeah.
That I did remember that. Yeah, that was a very interesting.
I think Marvel Studios wants to just put that away now at this point. Secret Invasion was a big flop. They don't want to be over talking the whole Skrull thing.
No, they need to rethink.
And nobody's gonna care. Nobody likes Secret Invasion anyway, so they'll just be happy to have Rhodey back as War Machine.
Yeah, that's true. Another big thing they definitely want to make this movie is because of other potential Iron Man villains that we can see now. That there are armor. I could see Titanium Man come here.
They're probably going to have just like the comic book storyline, where they had the most out of they had the most ever. And having Justin Hammer back on his own. Everyone loves Justin Hammer. That will be huge, right? He's so good, he can carry the movie as the villain, as the quasi villain. But you know who else they said that might be in the movie? That Vale and Justin Hammer might accidentally bring back Ultron.
Really? Oh,
we could have Ultron in the movie.
You know what? I can definitely see that for this movie because think about it. Which movie you can see Ultron to come back? It makes sense in Armor Wars because guess what? I mean, in this universe, he's made by Tony Stark, and I think that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I like Ultron. I love James Spader as Ultron.
Me too. That'd be great if they brought Ultron back.
Yeah, and it's not
You know,
his
we've mentioned we've had conversations before about they should have already brought him back, or they should bring him back to, to the MCU.
Yeah. So I feel like that they never utilized Ultron like his potential in Age of Ultron. I think that onwards you can definitely do that and keep him in multiple movies like moving forward, because he is a great villain for Avengers film. And I like, come on, like we need recurring villains. Now we don't have Loki. Thanos is pretty much done, for the moment. But yeah.
It would be very it definitely would score a lot of like fan service points in terms of nostalgia to bring Ultron back and have James Spader come back and voice Ultron, right? That would put butts in the seats in the movie theaters, right? Just hearing that voice again in the trailer.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Can you believe supposedly like they cleared the schedules for the actors for the Avengers and whatnot, everything, to start shooting the next Avengers film? And we're gonna have an Avengers movie in like what, like a year and a half, 2 years?
Yeah, I don't know. That is so funny. So right, because like the Avengers 5,
it still feels like that's rushed, doesn't it? Because of how they've handled shit.
Because apparently they're coming out in 2026 and 2027. So like my concern is like they didn't. Are they moving forward with the Kane stuff? Like, are we still doing the multiverse stuff? Like that's my thing. It's like where we're at with these two Avengers movies.
Supposedly, the first Avengers film is going to be very contained, and it's just going to have a main team with like Shuri, Black Panther, Sam Wilson, Captain America, Captain Marvel, right? Wanda,
Wanda, Thor.
Thor, something like that, whatever, the Hulk, something like that. And that's the team, right? Like for that first film, then they're going to blow it up in the second one, But the first one will just be like one small, Spider-Man will be on the team, right? Like, he'll be on there, and, we don't have a release date yet, but we know that they're going to start shooting Spider-Man 4, right? We know that. There's been rumors, there's been talks about that, whatnot, and everything. It seems like Sony and Marvel Studios are like have come together and whatnot and gotten their shit worked out with that. They still haven't picked a director for it, but like they have plans for production and whatnot and all that and everything and whatnot. And I think they have they have a good idea of the concept of the film, right? They're just kind of like ironing out the final details and whatnot and everything of assembling a production team.
Yeah, because last time I heard that news, they're saying they were thinking to bring Sam Raimi back to do a Spider-Man 4 for that one.
Well, Sony wants the movie quicker, and like Marvel Studios wants it time to be passed.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying with that?
Yeah, that was the thing I heard when news with the Spider-Man 4 thing was building. That makes sense. I mean, I agree with Marvel Studios because come on, like you cannot rush.
And then Sony wanted it more multiversal, and like Marvel wanted it more grounded. You know what I'm saying?
I hope that's the thing. If they're keeping it grounded, I'm happy. I hope like we're getting Daredevil Borgen next year, so hopefully it can set up maybe Spider-Man 4. But I don't know.
So Sony pisses me off because like just because they make these shitty movies and I have no fucking idea why they're even making them does not mean that like they should be fucking the MCU up, right? Like with their bullshit, you know what I'm saying? And affecting the MCU shit, like our story with the movies and our characters, right? With their shit, to where like a lot of the fans are already sick of the fucking multiverse crap. We're tired of it, right? Like a lot of us were already scared when they were going to bring it in anyway, right? I remember being on shows back years ago and being asked about the multiverse and being like, I don't know, man. If they do it all right, like it'll be all right. But if they overdo it, I'm not going to like it. Right. I specifically remember saying like 3 or 4 years ago, I don't want to see Halle Berry Storm in a fucking MCU film. Right. Like, I don't. You know what I mean? But that's how much things have changed, isn't it? Yeah. That now I do. Now I do want to see a Halle Berry Storm cameo in an MCU film. Right. Isn't that amazing, folks? That's how much things have changed in the MCU. Like as far as like where things were at. Like seriously, when we first started the Bleeding Edge, I can remember being on shows and guesting on shows and like talking about these conversations and whatnot and saying that like, you know, like this is coming off of Endgame and everything and whatnot, you know, and like all that Infinity War, and being like, yeah, the multiverse can be okay, but like I don't want to see the X-Men come out of the multiverse. But now they're going to do the X-Men for the multiverse for the Fox characters, and I don't even care. It's like, fuck it, why not? It'll be cool. It'll be cool. You know what I'm saying? Like, why not?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it will be cool. I mean, it's a Deadpool movie, so I'm happy that Deadpool movie multiverse. So
they're gonna have more of them than the ones in Deadpool in the other Avengers film. The second one, they're gonna have like more of the X-Men characters.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, right? I'm curious if they are moving forward with the
Supposedly, they're gonna do a Gambit cameo, possibly in Deadpool 3, or at some point they're gonna do a Gambit cameo with what's his name? They wanted to do Gambit for all those years.
Channing Tatum.
Yeah, Channing Tatum. They're supposedly in Deadpool 3, there might be a Channing Tatum Gambit cameo.
I can definitely see that, especially because we've seen other mutants that we saw from the previous movie, popping up. We saw with the new trailer.
Do you think Taylor Swift will be in the movie as Dazzler?
Oh man,
it's being heavily rumored.
I don't know, like
and her and Ryan Reynolds and Ryan Reynolds' wife or whatnot are really good friends or whatever, I guess.
Yeah, they're good friends. They've been good friends.
She kind of looks like Dazzler.
Yeah, that's the thing, and then she's a singer, so I mean that's what Dazzler is. She's a mutant.
No, but she looks like Dazzler. She does. Dazzler is tall and she has blonde hair, kind of. You know what I'm saying? Like the only difference is in the comics, depending on who was like writing her or whatever. Dazzler was like curvier sometimes and other times, but like she wasn't as thin as Taylor is.
Yeah, no. I understand what you're saying. Okay.
No, but Taylor looks like Dazzler. She could pull off a good Dazzler.
Yeah, that's my thing. Yeah, I definitely want it. I'm a huge Taylor Swift fan, so I definitely want to see that. And because
I love Dazzler, I think she's awesome. I don't really know that much about the character. I never really read much about her in the comics, but I know who she is in general as a character, and she seems pretty dope.
Yeah. By the way, this is gonna be the second time we see this character. She was in Dark Phoenix. If you guys ever seen that movie.
I never saw that one. I heard it was so bad. I was like, nah, I don't.
I didn't see it either. It was like I know that Dazzler was in it. Like it was in like the forest scene. So.
That's one of the side effects of doing these shows for all these years and shit. Whatnot is that people come on here and whatnot and everything, right? Guests and shit, and we'll talk about these things like these movies, and somebody will be like, "Yeah, I fucking watched that. And it was fucking dog shit." So I'm not gonna watch that shit at that point. You know what I'm saying?
No. The only time we do it is if we have to review it. And that's the thing.
Hey, brother, we made it to 2 hours tonight, man. We manned up. We manned up, baby. Wakanda forever.
Yeah, right. We went longer than that.
2 hours. Went 2 hours, baby.
2 hours. So you're happy we went over 2 hours.
We haven't done 2 in a while, man. We got to make sure we can still hold it down.
True. Well, I gotta say, I am very excited for Armor Wars. Speaking of Justin Hammer, because it's like going back to Armor Wars, like the most positive thing about Iron Man 2 was always him, Justin Hammer. So it was always weird that Marvel never brought him back, except for that that short the Hell King thing where they kind of debunked that there was actual Mandarin before Shang-Chi came out. And that was the last time we saw Justin Hammer. So I hope they get, Sam Rockwell, because I love him as an actor.
Sam Rockwell wants to come back. Like I when I was doing research today and whatnot and everything, he's in interviews and whatnot and everything, he's basically said like flat out, like I'm there. Like just like, put me in there, like I'm ready to go.
Yeah, that's true. What else? Do you think we're gonna see Morgan Stark?
I think he likes playing Justin Hammer.
Oh yeah, I mean, come on. I think
we're going to see Morgan Stark. No, we're not going to see Morgan Stark.
Okay. I know we're not going to see Pepper, but I was kind of curious about the father.
No, Pepper's gone.
Happy. I can see Happy come back for this one.
I don't think so.
Oh really? Okay.
I think Happy. I mean, I don't know. We'll have to see. But if we see Happy ever again, it'll be in Spider-Man 4.
I don't know about that. I want new characters for Spider-Man 4. Like
it would be Happy's biggest piece of connective tissue with the MCU. So that's where you'd see him. If you were going to see Jon Favreau as Happy again, it would be Spider-Man 4.
Yeah, I guess so. I just personally, for me, I just need more Spider-Man characters from Spider-Man. I don't want I feel like Happy should be with Rhodey.
There's certain legacy characters you want to keep around, certain ones you don't, that need to just go away at a certain point. So I think that Jon Favreau's Happy character pretty much its lifespan is over. It's time for them to move on, you know what I mean, and whatnot, and go in different directions.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, we don't have Aunt May, so I guess you can make Happy be the parent figure for.
But that's the whole concept, though, is that this is supposed to be college age Spider-Man 4, where he's on his own, right? Like he lives on his own and whatnot, and everything and all that and whatnot, and that's the whole concept. He's fighting crime as Spider-Man on his own, with no mentor. You know what I'm saying? And that's why, Daredevil is supposed to be there and Ant-Man's supposed to be there, whatever, whatnot, not as mentors, but just as more experienced superheroes. You know what I'm saying? To give them him advice, right? Because they're all going to be affected by Kingpin with his with his criminal his vigilante registration act or whatever, whatnot, legislation he's going to put in place as mayor. Restricting people that wear masks from vigilantism and shit like that, whatnot.
Yeah, during his mayor campaign thing. Yeah, we really know so far for Daredevil Oregon. Yeah, that makes sense. But then it doesn't make sense to have Happy then, because he doesn't remember Peter. So
you could potentially see the Punisher in Spider-Man 4.
Oh, remember. I mean, people don't know this. It is very cool. Punisher did appear first in the Spider-Man comics, so I
Spider-Man and the Punisher have a relationship in the comics. They've teamed up multiple times.
Oh yeah, and the cartoons,
because they both operate out of New York City.
Oh yeah, I mean, have you seen the cartoons of the '90s? I mean, he popped up there too, and he did team up with Raven and Spider-Man.
I used to read comics back in the day. My favorite team-ups were always the ones with the Punisher. It was always cool seeing different characters team up with the Punisher. Like Daredevil and the Punisher were always good. Oh
yeah, they were good. I always who was it? That was always a good team up.
I was like Wolverine and the Punisher were good. I like them.
Yeah, I always liked that with Hulk, because Hulk was always my favorite character, and I was like when he pair up with other characters like Wolverine.
That one team up I was talking about earlier that happened in the self-titled X-Men comic. It crossed over into Ghost Rider and Spider-Man, right? It was one of those crossovers where in between different comics where the Brood infested the Thieves Guild in New Orleans and pretended to be the Thieves Guild, but they were the Brood, the alien race, the Brood, the aliens. And Beast and Wolverine got sent down to track down Gambit when Gambit went down there to see what was going on. Then Spider-Man shows up. Ghost Rider shows up with Johnny Blaze from when Ghost Rider and Johnny Blaze were doing Spirits of Vengeance together and shit, whatnot. They show up, right? And Punisher, right? Imagine that squad with the Beast and Wolverine, right? Shit was dope, dude. It was really straight. And they fight the Brood in the sewers.
That's cool. Yeah. I wonder if we're gonna see Brood, because I know
Ghost Rider was teamed up with Wolverine and shit, whatnot, everything and all that. It was dope.
Yeah, that'll be.
And the Punisher, Ghost Rider, the Punisher, and Wolverine.
That's a great combo. Yeah, and it's funny, it's a good team up. What else? Was Spider-Man 4? Villains. Well, besides Kingpin, what else do you want? I want to see other Spider-Man like low-key villains like Tombstone. I don't know, you heard about Tombstone?
Tombstone might be in the film and whatnot. I mean, there's going to be other villains. Kingpin's just going to be sort of the arch villain, the overarching villain, to set him up as a bigger villain overall later on.
Yeah, which that's good, because I mean, Kingpin is a great character, and I think that would be great for the grounded Marvel stuff, him being the big bad for the ground street level. The way time flies, before you know it, Daredevil will be coming out, and we'll be covering that. Yeah, because I know that it's coming out next year, late. Whenever
I
they
can't.
say
I don't have the release schedule right in front of me.
Phase 5.
On that one, I'll definitely make sure that we get T-shirts if they have them. I'll get them. Because
Yeah.
I'm sure they're probably gonna have some dope T-shirts for that show. I bet.
Oh, they will. Oh, and the we need to talk more about Daredevil because there's a lot has changed. Like we're getting the wife that played Kingpin, like the original actress from the Netflix, has come back. We're
I
getting
know. Yeah, I know. Like they brought like 9 total actors or actresses, whatever it was, characters back from the Netflix show. Total like to the Marvel show.
Yeah. And we know that Punisher's in it. Karen and Feige are coming back, which is great. Then who else? Bullseye. I was saying I would see Bullseye in Spider-Man 4. That'd be a great fight.
I never got to see Bullseye because remember I never finished Daredevil. I got into season 2 and then I stopped, but I never went back.
Oh, yeah. Season 3 was much better than season 2, like in terms of like.
I know that's why I stopped watching season 2. I didn't like the. I remember I told you before I was not a fan of the actress that played
Elektra.
Elektra, yeah, I did not like her.
Yeah, no. A lot of us. I think it's been years ago, so like that didn't. They rushed the whole Elektra thing. Like,
I've got to finish it though, so I can get back and finish all the Netflix series and whatnot and all that. Because I know that like I never watched The Punisher. I heard that was really good.
Yeah, I heard good things about it. It was very good. I just wish the pacing was better. But what else?
Hey, it's almost June, brother. It's almost 6 months into 2024. Can you believe it?
I know. Time flies. It's crazy. It's been crazy. It's been a good year, 2024 for me. So it's been good.
Well, we got to get you over 1,000 subscribers, brother, this year. But like, we got to make sure that we make it happen. I've never really, I don't really have that much experience with. I've never done giveaways before or anything like that and whatnot. That's why I've never actually tried doing them. I have no experience with them. You know what I'm saying? Like I've never done anything like that before in content creation, like doing giveaways and whatnot with subs and all that kind of stuff. But eventually, we're gonna work something out here because I want to make sure that you cross that mark this year. And you're getting there, but it'd be nice if we could just get you there quicker, get it over with.
Like how the hell the Cyber caught me up? Wow, I was ahead of. I didn't understand that. Like how
it just happens on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just like with us. Like if you look at our channel, we had our 10,000 subscriber like show special or whatever a year ago, right? Now look where we're at. Like you were 46,000 subscribers. So
but I mean that's true. I mean, it's always funny when
we're rare territory with 17 people watching us right now. How's everybody doing over on X and YouTube and Rumble and Facebook Live and all that and whatnot? We love all of you. Twitch. Hope you enjoyed the show. Me and Andres dropping bodies over here. We had a good guest on, right? Nice having guests on the Monday show, huh?
Yeah, thank goodness. I think it's been better to have a guest with these reviews because it just feels better, more structure, and hear different opinions, like I think it's great.
I'm working on putting together a small team for House of the Dragon right now in the background. I'm trying to put together a team. I already reached out to a couple of people that helped me with season 1, right? Okay, so I'm gonna try to make sure that every episode when we do the House of the Dragon, there's at least one other person with us every show. Right, no matter what, for those episode reviews, so that they're more fun and they're more entertaining. We got a lot of stuff to cover this year. I mean, honestly, we're gonna have this is season 2, House of the Dragon. We're gonna have Dead City before the end of the year, right? And so that gives us space in between all that. If you think about it, where we probably will be able to fit in another show, probably or something like that, if we can find one.
Yeah, well, the Penguin, that is.
Oh, that's right. That's right. We're probably gonna end up doing the Penguin show on here. I forgot about that.
Yeah, because we don't know when they're gonna air it. I think it has to be either the Weather Report.
The episodes will come out on Sundays, just like all the other HBO series episodes come out.
Yeah.
So we'll do the show probably on Monday. But you
Yeah,
never
so
know, though. It depends on what we have going on the main shows on Wednesdays and Fridays. You know what I'm saying? If we don't have anything going on, we might do it on Wednesdays.
that's true. Yeah, I mean, if the show gets good reviews and people are interested in reviewing that, yeah, I'll be happy to do it Wednesdays. Because that'd be a great fun show to do. Yeah, that I'm very excited for. What else?
I'm looking forward to reviewing the Matrix movies. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Oh my god, I'm excited for the first one. The sequels, I don't know.
I never saw 4.
I heard mixed things. But it's not like I didn't hear it was like the worst, but like it tried something different. But I don't know.
I thought Matrix 2 and 3 were okay. They weren't like bad.
Nah, I like the second film more because they had more action, and then the third one, it was okay, but it didn't offer too many action. It was just too much talking. Like it's been a while for me to live.
Wait till we do the Lord of the Rings. That's going to be epic.
Ugh, you gotta cut me out of that one. Those series are just so much.
Count you out, Lord of the Rings.
I mean, I don't know. I'm not like a huge Lord of the Rings fan.
Those are like some of the those are like people like beg to be on review shows to review the Lord of the Rings.
I'll join you guys in the first film because I seen the first one like the most in part 2 Towers. Well, no, 2 Towers I seen.
We're doing Back to the Future 2 and 3 coming here soon too.
Ooh, that I'm excited for because I mean I love Back to the Future. I love part 2. Actually, part 2 is my favorite of the trilogy, and I'm very excited for that.
Well, after the Lord of the Rings, is when we get the Nolan trilogy from me. So like you'll be happy then.
Yeah, because I'm a Batman fan. So and this year is the 85th anniversary of Batman. So
that's how I'll reward you for doing the Lord of the Rings films, and I'll give you the Nolan Batman trilogy afterwards.
You, I hate you. All right. I'll guarantee you I will be in at least the first 2. I don't know about Return of the King. Unfortunately, that has a big spire. And
I was gonna say you gotta do 2. 2 is the best one.
Oh yeah, I mean I love 2.
The Battle of Helm's Deep. The Battle of Helm's Deep, baby.
Yeah, talking trees. Gollum, we got a lot of Gollum there, and
Miranda Otto as what's her
yeah.
name? She's really good in that movie. She should have won the Academy Award.
She's great. I mean, she's very beautiful. Brad Dourif, he's in it. No, Chucky,
Yep.
he's in it.
Yeah. What's his name as the king?
Yeah.
I always forgot that actor's name, but name, but he was really good.
He was great.
Irwin's father.
Yeah, and I think is it Kurt Urban is in this movie in 2 Towers. I think I remember.
Yeah, he's in it. He plays. I forgot the name of his character, but he plays one of the Rohad. He's one of the horsemen of Rohad.
Yeah. So I mean, I'll definitely appear in the first 2 movies, and then.
Oh, next Monday. You know what else we're doing? I forgot. The other thing was what we're doing. We're doing a preview of the Acolyte.
Oh, I seen the second trailer, so let me talk about that.
We're gonna play the second trailer and everything and whatnot next Monday, and we're gonna talk about the Acolyte, folks. Me and Andres.
Yeah, I can give you guys a brief review of the second trailer. I thought the second trailer was much better. It gave better.
We're doing it next Monday.
Yeah, but I want people to hear my thoughts, sir. I'm telling you to the audience, okay? But I'm still not excited for the show. So let's be honest.
Not excited?
Yeah,
Are you at least trying to be optimistic about it?
I don't know. I mean, I got free will, so I can just tell you that either I'm coming into the show or not. So that will speak.
It's from the High Republic era, so it's a different kind of Star Wars than like what we're used to.
True.
Did they fire the director already? That chick? They fired her already? That's what I heard. That Lena Headley or whatever, whatnot. She's supposed to be a big time asshole, like a big social justice warrior type motherfucker.
Oh my god! Hold on, let me check here for that delay. Do you say director that fire? I don't see. Nope, I don't see anything about that. Lawsuit, yeah. Apparently, the Karen McCarv to Lucasfilm for over breach of conflict, saying that she was up for a producer role for both Acolyte and the Apple TV series Sugar. And choose Acolyte. That's the only news I think that's like big news. I don't know.
Well, sir, I think it is time for us to get out of here.
Yeah,
we finished our 2-hour mark. Why don't we say goodnight? Why don't we say goodnight to the folks, right? And rest up for Wednesday for 48 hours.
Yes, and by the way, tomorrow me and Jeff are going to review Chucky, season
right.
3, part 2. So, yeah, we're going to see each other again before Wednesday.
What time? What time are we live in tomorrow?
Do you want to do 9:35 or 10?
Let's do 10.
Okay, yeah, we'll do it at 10, folks. I will change that after we're done with this live stream, and then we should be good. Yeah, that's it. And then 48 hours is where you're gonna see us again, and then Friday we're off.
Yeah, everyone's got the night off on Friday.
Yeah.
But I'll be reporting in from Rockville 2024. Letting you know how it's going on over there and whatnot.
Oh yeah.
TrueKnowledge on the spot. I'm going to be reporting in and whatnot and everything, and like doing some bleeding edge stuff while I'm over there.
Yeah, just tell me how the food is good. That's it.
I will. I promise. I'm going with the bearded lady, actually.
No one's going to marry you, Haranam. Like, you have a beard. No one's going to date you, Haranam. You have a beard. No one's going to be your boyfriend, Haranam. You have a beard. You are not a preference to a lot of men. And then I'll get like really feminine men message me, but that's not who I'm attracted to. Hannah, I like really masculine men because I am very soft. I'm so different to what you see.
Like Andre's a pop culture guy.
On TV.
I've never seen you on TV.
Probably not. But no, generally you'll see, she's strong.
No,
she's,
I'm very
what she's
masculine.
talking about is very powerful. Whatever people say. But then at home,
this
I'm
is
very
totally
quiet.
bullshit.
That's what I was saying. You're very masculine.
I don't get to see that side of me.
No, I'm yes.
But
no,
it
this is
has
not my
been
type.
beautiful, where I wanted to be married and.
All right, folks. Have a good night. God bless you. We'll see you next time.
Good night.